So what do we get to eat?
We stole a recipe from your hotel, and I'll hold it in your job. Okay.
My friend Redheads are here. Great to see you.
He wants to go to free Cuba. That's it.
Who's from Venezuela? So we came to get some food to the Air Force One.
Yes.
Thousands of people outside.
Yeah. Pick up the piano.
She's gonna make a fortune.
Right here.
Everything. You know, gas stations. You've been my friend for a long time, right?
You have been the best president we have seen in our life.
Excuse me. Good afternoon, everybody. That, as I've been telling you, is what's been going on down here in South Florida. That was at a Venezuelan restaurant yesterday down here in Miami. And the people in Miami, the Cubans, the Venezuelans, they can't believe what has been happening. They are so excited. And the Cubans are just chomping at the bit. And yet we're being told, you know, we're losing the midterms, more and more propaganda. You see, I think you guys need to understand something. We are in two different areas in wars. We got what's going on over in Iran, obviously, which we're going to talk about with Pete Hegseth. And then secondly, we have the war waging here in America. And the war waging here in America is subversive, it's subterranean, and because it's based upon propaganda, deception, misinformation designed to demoralize Americans. You can see it clearly if you know what to look for. And make no bones about it, we are in a war here in America. Some of the opponents are in our own government. Might be your neighbor, might be a coworker, but we're definitely in a war. I looked up today as I'm getting ready to. I'm just laughing. It's not funny, but they had to call the bomb squad out to Gracie Mansion, to where Mondami lives. They're looking to blow up the Muslim mayor. Diversion. They don't want you to look at what really matters, and it's going to get worse. Let me show you. I'm not even going to do any hyperbole. No suggestion. I'm just going to show you so you can see with your own eyes how you're being manipulated. And unless you get the actual information, you're not going to be able to sit back and go, "We're good. We are definitely okay." Weather the storm of BS. understand what to look for, and then you're going to see, one, it's BS, two, how to prosper. See, they don't want you prosperous, and a scared person, you've heard the story, scared money don't make money. Scared money don't make money. And I'm going to prove that to you today. I want you to listen to this. This was on I think it was Jesse Waters' show last night. And it's pretty interesting. I posted it earlier on X.
So the market was wild today. I mean, it was just absolutely all over the place. Is the market looking at the military aspect of this, or are they looking at the energy aspect? Where's the smart money?
The market's looking at the energy aspect of it, because the energy aspect of it, if it lingers, then it slows consumer spending. You slow consumer spending, you slow the GDP. You know, we're on the cusp of a major economic boom this year. The signs are already there from factory orders, manufacturing data, service data, and of course the refunds that you talked about at the opening of the show. So, you know, we don't want anything necessarily to hamstring that, right? We don't want any speed bumps as we're taking off. But listen, President Trump knows the mission is the mission. And the folks who don't want him to win in the media, the financial media, the mainstream media, they'll make anything the talking point. Wow, it lasted more than 7 days. You know what? It's going to last however long it lasts, but we are winning decisively.
We are winning decisively, as Charles Payne said. But not enough people understand that. Not enough people have the signals to look when you're being manipulated, and they look at things at face value and they freak out. I feel like that it's my job to make sure you don't freak out, that you know what signals to look for. I want you to see this. This is the economic website, as you know, CNBC. And I'm going to refresh it so you have the most up-to-date numbers. And it says the Dow rallies 400 points, continuing comeback from Iran war lows as oil prices retreat. And now I'm going to scroll down, and I want you to see I think it's the very first article. And you have to say to yourself, well, how can that be? Gas prices passed $3.50 per gallon to the highest level since 2024 amid U.S.-Iran war. Some don't make sense here. That can't, if you understand markets, you know they don't react that fast. The gas and oil at the pump have been in the pump. They've been already brought over from Iran. There should be no immediate uptick in prices here. The only reason there'd be an uptick in prices here is if they wanted to uptick the prices. And they all jumped the gun thinking, okay, we got to make the money now because, a month from now, we're not going to get any more supply. So it's going to be bad. But at the same time, on the very same website, market's going crazy, up 340 points. You see the disparity there? Something ain't making sense. Let me take you a little step further. Here's the oil price. Let me refresh. Oil is at $78 a barrel. That by itself gives you no reference. If you're not checking this, you don't know. And I said, if you're not participating, you are going to miss the opportunity to make massive profits and prosperity. And as you're watching it, you're seeing it change. But where the big news is when you take it, this is today, when you pull back, let's pull back and look at a bigger picture. Let me show you a 5-day chart. Notice anything? Notice how that spiked, how it went straight up, which gave the media and the panicans and the black pillars and the left and the demos and the rhinos. Oh my God, Trump's it's awful here. It's amazing how bad it is. Really? You can see what happened. And now we're at a point that it hasn't been this low, basically for almost a week. If there was such an emergency, if things were so bad, how did it go up and come down like a roller coaster? If you went to the doctor with that kind of arrhythmia, they would say, we need to check you in here. Something's wrong. That doesn't make any sense until it does make sense, until you look at that and realize, wow, that was probably orchestrated, wasn't it? Yeah. You can't have a perpendicular line and then a fall off. I mean, it reminds me of the votes of 2020, doesn't it? How do you have straight up I mean, look at it. It's a perpendicular line. That can't happen. That's not real. And now it's falling off of a cliff. Why? How come? And we're talking a span of 3 days where everybody panicked. Oh my God, Trump did that. Oh, maybe I should delete those tweets, huh? A lot of people think, no, they don't have to delete them because they're on to the next hoax. What was the other hoax? Oh yeah, this one. Let me show you this one. Hey, oh my God, silver's tanking. Oh, it's tanking. Oh my God, it's at $89. Oh, let's look at the 5-day chart here. Uh-oh, same thing. Moral of the story is, if you don't know what to look for, you're going to fall for anything. If you're not understanding what makes things move and gives these people fodder for talking, and how they create it. They can create chaos. You know, when I had Kevin DeMerit on from Lear Capital, and I'm like, what are we looking at? He goes, here's what you look at. Damn sure, if you don't watch what's happening, it actually comes true. It's very simple to watch. And then they move on. The panicans just disappear. They don't want you to even have any discussion about that. Right now, there's still people out there panicking about gas prices, and you saw CNBC on their own page after the other people who know the truth are making a whole bunch of money. It's absolutely disgusting when you look at what they're doing on the very same page where other people are cashing in. Oh, this market is a boom. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, it sucks for you. It's going to suck for you. You're paying more. We're in a war, not just thousands of miles away. We're in a war right here. We're in a war to propagandize you, to absolutely destroy everything you hold dear. And they don't care. They don't care who they destroy right now because they know they're making money on the other side. They were protected before it started. What are you in at oil? I'm in at about 80. Okay, let's pump it up to 120. Boom. Let's all cash out and make a whole shitload of money, and boom, it drops right down. Got mine. Let's go ahead and pump up silver. Get all these idiots to, follow the trend, and then let's cash out, and boom, it drops right back down. Got mine. Instead of realizing it's okay. We are okay as a country. And if people are in a chat saying they don't believe it, if they think Barry's crazy, let them think that. We can't give life rafts to people who don't want to put them on. We can't get people into the lifeboats who don't want to get in the lifeboat. We can tell them, we can show them, but unless they want to get in the lifeboat, we can't help them. And I've talked to Robin about this for quite some time. I'm like, Robin, I'm really feeling weird about things right now. I'm X, and I'm seeing there's very few, and if you've been on X, you might feel the same way. There's very little news right now. It is a complete cesspool of authoritative expert analysis of people who were experts on the Ukraine war, who now are experts on the Iranian war, who are now experts on oil and experts on Epstein. Is there any news? It seems like the only news is coming from, I don't know, the president, when he is actually speaking, or when Pete Hegseth is speaking, or Karoline Leavitt is speaking. That's news. Everything else is opinion and propaganda. And I tried to remove myself from the propaganda aspect and just report to you guys, here's what somebody said. I'm not interested in panicking and people in their quips on X. I want to know as close to the truth as I possibly can. I get sent so many articles and so many posts from people here in the Fanfare family. And I'm like, I don't want to say anything nasty. I'm like, can you at least verify it before you send it? Can you at least verify it before you share it? Oh, they're going to tear down Alligator Alcatraz. That one I love because it's right here. And I'm thinking to myself, oh God, you're following people who are making money lying to you. They can't substantiate anything that they say. They don't care to substantiate. All they want you to do is click. And if you click, they're fine. And it's happening on a small scale all the way up to the big boys. Hey, oil is, you're never going to be able to afford any more gas. It's awful. It's fake. You're being given head fakes all over the place. And so at this point, I think I'm just going to pull back and look and do as much news as possible and show you actual things that happened that came actually out of people's mouths. I've seen posts today where it says that Karoline Leavitt says she's going to draft people, or President Trump's going to draft people. He didn't say that, but they'll put it out there like that. And conversely, there's people on the right say, and they'll put it in the post. Dick Durbin and Chuck Schumer said they want illegals to vote. No, that's not what they said. That's probably what they mean, but that's not what they said. And you got to leave it up to people to make their decision as to what they infer, but that's not what he said. You're trying to basically salivate somebody into clicking on something that actually gets people to watch or read what you're putting out there. I've had so many people, Barry, I can change your thumbnails for you. I can do this, I can do that, get you better titles. Like, I don't care. My only interest is to make sure I can be oh my goodness, they're talking about Carg Island. Yeah, who talked about Carg Island a couple of days ago? I did. And now they're worried about, hey, I got to put this on. Hold on, let me jump real quick and put this on because he's talking about, Carg Island.
He allows it to leave.
Right. Just want to ask you one more question. This is about the question of whether Russia is sharing intelligence on American positions with Iran. Steve Witkoff was on CNBC.
We missed it. All right. So now they're starting to talk about Carg Island because they have to wait until they can research and somebody tells them what's going on. They don't do any of their own research. They read the teleprompter and smile and look pretty. I'm just urging you and trying to compel you guys to really, really watch what's going on before you jump and share something. And I showed you yesterday, there's a little button on X. All you got to do is click the little lightning bolt up there and it'll tell you, nah, this is BS. Nope, that's AI. That doesn't make any sense. I guess what I'm saying in no uncertain terms is that at this point, you need to be armed. Of course, you put on the armor of God every morning, but at the same time, put the armor on as you're fighting the war right now of propaganda, the war for your mind. And stay strong that way, because right now they don't want you to be strong. They want you to be susceptible. Look around yourself, Facebook, Twitter, different places, and see how much actual news is being reported. And maybe let that attract you, because the cleansing that people are going to need was just proven. That you're being manipulated in as many places as possible. I mean, it just amazes me when I look at this kind of stuff, and Rob looks down to 79.44. It just keeps falling. It just keeps going down. I thought now it's up to 81. It's incredible how things are being manipulated and how profit is being made by people who don't want you to have the same information that they do. Just be smart about things. And I'm not scolding anybody. but it is what it is. Yeah, they still got the bomb squad out in New York. Pretty crazy. I want to take a second and thank everybody that showed up to the biggest movie theater in the world. That's what I'm going to start claiming it. The Fanfare Movie Night is the biggest movie theater in the world. Those of you who don't know, we showed the Melania movie last night, and even today it's still ticking, and it's over like 9,000 or 10,000 people have watched it, and I thank you all for tuning in. It was commercial free, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we're going to have to do some more things like that. Bring some more movies to you guys, because I just loved the interaction, seeing the comments and what you guys were saying, and I think you guys were as surprised as I was when I first saw that movie. It was pretty pretty incredible how they put that together. And you also heard from one of the producers of the movie, Mark Beckman. All right, let me tell you about one of today's sponsors before Karoline gets here, and what that sponsor would be from last night, Rumble. You've seen the conversations that happen online lately. Censorship is back. It's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling narratives and pushing the stuff they want you to see. We need to fight back. Rumble is the only company that I have found that has stood the test of time and deserves our support in regards to fighting censorship. On one side, Rumble is challenging big tech censorship, but now on the other side, they've introduced something that will give us protection from the big banks shutting us off. Banks can cancel our accounts, they can freeze our cards, they can just boot you out. And that's why they launched Rumble Wallet, a wallet that no one can cancel and a wallet that supporters can use to tip creators instantly, like myself, without any middlemen taking cuts. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money, not a bank, not a government, not a tech company, not even Rumble can touch it once you have Rumble Wallet. It's yours. Only yours to protect your future and your family. It's not only a wallet to buy and save, but it also allows you to support your favorite creators by easily tipping them with the click of a button. There will be no fees when you tip my channel or other people's channel, and they actually receive the tip instantly, unlike other platforms where we have to wait for payouts. Support my show and other creators by clicking the tip button on my Rumble channel. It's wallet.rumble.com. Download Rumble Wallet today, open an account, and step away from the big banks for good. Wallet.rumble.com, or search Rumble Wallet in the app stores or the Play Store. All right, we'll be right back.
One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so our man about the internets with the stories. Let's check in with SB. SB, you there? Gotcha. What you got, bro?
I'm here. How you doing, Barry?
Good, man.
Hello,
You got anything
Fanfare Patriots.
Talk to us. What you got?
All right, I have a few things. First thing is the stock market. It's up, up, up. It's currently up 400 points. The Dow, the S&P is up 40 points, so it's continuing its positive trend from yesterday. Breaking: U.S. Air Force B-1B Lancer Sympathy of Destruction bomber has taken off from England to go and unleash destruction on the Iranian regime. Just in, the experts are shocked after the price of oil plummets from over $100 per barrel to below $80, with stocks now rapidly recovering. President Trump said it's temporary. This is just an incredible swing. Trump has a plan.
You know, they
Just
all.
in?
Hold on, go ahead.
Okay.
No, I was just saying it's amazing how everybody just jumped on the fact that it spiked up, and now that it's dropping like a stone, they don't have anybody wanting to talk about it. Nobody wants to explain it because they've taken their money and they've already run. I don't know if you saw the story. I wanted to get your opinion on it, and people, as we're waiting for Karoline to come up, this other people's opinion, that Erica Kirk has been named to the board of the Air Force Academy. I mean, that story dropped earlier this morning, and I was like, huh? But then, you know, I was talking to Robin and I was talking to Ashley about it. I'm like, it probably makes sense in this regard. TPUSA is all over college campuses, is in high school campuses, and it's a direct line to potential recruits. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. It's bringing in more eyeballs. Perfect.
Eyeballs. I got some sports. You're a sports fan, football fan?
Yes, I am.
Who's your team?
Along with pickleball. Well, it was the Giants. They've been doing quite well, like the Dolphins.
Well, I got a story about sports I want to run. Hopefully, you can get it in before she comes up, because it is, to me, it's an example of, just like with the hockey team, people want to root for losers, especially if those losers are Americans. They don't want Americans. I'll be back to you, SB. They don't want Americans to be people that, you know, are heralded for winning. And, you know, if you are a football fan, you should know at this point, today being Tuesday, that free agency just opened up. And what's interesting with free agency is a whole lot of people are making a whole crap load of money. People are signing contracts for $50, $60, $90 million a year. Haven't seen Elizabeth Warren complaining about that at all. Haven't seen anybody complaining about these athletes making tons of money. Not at all. We are in the midst of a toxic masculinity bloom right now. I mean, it is absolutely going crazy with what these players are doing and going from different teams and everything. And it's not even in the news. They're not at all worried about other people making and I'm talking tens of millions of dollars. I thought they were the capitalist people, but it's okay if you can run or throw a football. But I want to show you something yesterday. Let me ask SB this. SB, you're about my age. Remember, it used to be in Wide World of Sports, they would show this part where the guy was coming down the ski ramp and he lost his balance and the agony of defeat, and he falls all over the place.
That's horrible.
Okay. I'm going to show you the glory of somebody else's agony. I want you guys to watch this.
Is he within eyesight from us?
He's in the last. I don't know.
Here he comes.
He comes right now.
Here he comes. So let's get right back down to the finish line so we can watch Michael cross the line here. Michael Kamau from Kenya.
Just over 2 hours and 11 minutes on the clock.
Oh, whoa.
Nathan Martin. Nathan Martin.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. It is a photo finish for Michael, crowning of the 2026 86 LA Marathon champion.
I'm not sure.
Nowhere, because we can only see just a little bit beyond.
We have to see that playback to see exactly what happened there.
Freeze that. Oh, where'd I go? I thought I froze that. Oh, it was the end of it. All right. So,
Christine has a...
in any event, can you imagine running 26 miles? Not like here to the car, 26 miles. You think you got it, and somebody comes running up and just passes you in the last 10th of a second. But after he wins, he puts on the American flag, and all of a sudden, he's no longer the story. Wait a second. So the American beat the Kenyan. Yeah. The American came up and came through and beat the Kenyan, puts on the American flag. That should be the story. An amazing, absolutely amazing comeback. Don't call it a comeback. He never went away. He ran through 26 miles. Actually, he went 25.99 miles, and he went through and won at the last 10th of a second. But for some reason, the man putting on the flag wasn't the story.
This is just painful to see. That leader was right around here, about 200 meters from winning the marathon, and then he made that wrong turn, and it's all caught on camera. The breathtaking LA Marathon photo finish that has captivated runners everywhere. Electric, it's what the people want. And the new video causing even more drama to the race that already felt like something from Hollywood. What do you think about seeing that?
I don't know if he was able to sleep last night.
Over 2 hours and 11 minutes on the clock.
In the final sprint, after almost 26.2 miles, Nathan Martin passes Michael Kamau right at the end, winning by just 1/100th of a second. But new video taken about 200 meters from the finish shows the then leader Kamau dodge a fan and then follow a motorcycle the wrong direction.
She just totally just messed him up. And if you see the video, she went to the left. I think it forced him to go to the right.
Oh, she messed him up.
Frank Robledo recording this video.
Who gives a shit? You see, there had to be a reason why this American won. Oh, the other guy screwed up. It wasn't because he still had enough of a kick at the end to overcome and he just took off. I'm sorry the other guy got all kinds of disoriented and went the wrong way. But I can remember playing in a game where we lost. It was supposed to be going to a championship because the other team blocked a kick. And our captain was sitting there crying, and we're like, man, you got to do this? Hey, sorry, man, it's news. It happens. Every one of you who watched the game on Saturday or Sunday, you're all happy until somebody throws a pick six. You're happy until somebody drops the ball. You're happy until, somebody blocks the hockey shot. You're happy until it's bottom of the ninth and the other guy hits a home run. That's how we define winners. When you're not supposed to win and something happens and you take advantage of it, it's not because the other guy lost, it's because you won. Focusing on why he won isn't the same as saying, damn, he ran 27 miles and he killed it. But no, everybody wants to talk about why he won.
Thinking no way the runner in second place would ultimately win.
Those seconds messed him up, man, and he had to backtrack it and go on.
Robledo also recorded the women's winner at the same spot. She veers left compared to Kamau, who goes right and then turns around.
The LA Marathon could have done a better job making sure that no one got in the way. And this.
No, it's not the marathon's fault. When you're coached, you can't hold. You can't interfere. You can't grab somebody by the face mask. It's not the rules. It's not the management. It's the athlete. And the focus immediately became, they took the race away from the Kenyan. The Kenyan was winning. Winning. He didn't win. He didn't win. How did the other 10,000 people running understand they need to go right here? You understand when there's a race, they take you on the course and you should know. But this guy veered off. Somebody interfered with him. But what about the guy who won? Why is that not the story? Oh, because he's American.
Is this lady, being able to go in there and running with him?
A spokesperson for the LA Marathon tells Fox 11 no protests were filed, but says the spectators' behavior seen in this video is cause for concern. Adding marathon road racing is a dynamic sport where pro athletes must combine endurance, tactical awareness, and mental toughness.
Tactical awareness, how you run your race, and mental toughness. I'm tired as hell. I hope I don't go the wrong way. Well, you don't go the wrong way by making sure you got mental toughness.
To be successful. Runners now watching this video stunned, feeling for the man who finished second.
Sure cost him to race. It's a local little race, it makes sense, but LA Marathon, people train their whole lives for it. It's tough.
No finish.
First place is believed to have won $10,000. Second place, $5,000. So this wrong turn also cost him money. Reporting live tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
You are right. That is hard to watch.
No, it wasn't hard to watch. Ask the other guy's family. Ask the other guy's fans. How was it? That's awesome, man. You ran a great race. Why are we focused on losers? That's what's wrong with the Democrats. That happened in Los Angeles, so I'm pretty sure the media was all Democrats. But listen to the guy who won, the black man who won, the American who won. Let's listen how he sounds.
Hi, Nathan. John W. Davis here with the Southern California News Group. Congratulations on winning this marathon. As a fellow person from Michigan, I got to give you a what up, though, because I'm from Detroit. Congratulations, okay, man. Talk to me about, what it took to win this one at the end, just the last stride.
Yeah, so I always challenge myself to push, regardless to whether it's somebody to chase or I'm all by myself, because I want to know I finished giving everything I had. Because I know I can always do that. You can't always win, but you can always push.
You can't always win, but you can always push. We don't even teach that in schools anymore. Everybody gets a trophy. Oh, by the way, they did give everybody a trophy. If you made it to, I think it was mile number 18, they gave everybody like a ribbon and stuff just for showing up. Everybody gets something. But here's a winner telling you, I just got to push. I just got to keep going. I couldn't run 26 yards. This guy's running 26 miles and sprinting at the end because I got to give it all I got. I can't leave anything out there on the street. That's who I am. I'm an American.
We're just super fortunate that effort gave me the win today, and it was a good challenge to get it. So.
How deep did you have to dig for that kick?
I was digging pretty deep. I was in the hurt locker for sure, but
we don't hear this from the left. How far did you? I had to dig so deep. I was in the hurt locker. Is that toxic masculinity, or is that the kind of attitude America needs right now? I would give it my all. I know some of you guys wondering, why is Barry talking about a sports story? Because this epitomizes what we're going through right now. Somebody who's run 25 miles and 999 yards and still had enough gumption, enough here to go for it.
I'm used to it and just gave what I had, and yeah, it was good. So.
I understand you are a high school coach, and now you've won the 2026 Los Angeles Marathon. How does all of that come together in your mind?
It's amazing. Like you hope that you're able to pull something off, like you don't. It's like one of those things where like you have to believe, but until you manifest it, it's just kind of an idea.
I'm sorry. It got me because this is what my coaches already said. You got to believe. I got to believe I can do it. Today's kids don't even believe they can do it. So if you can't believe it, you can't manifest it. If you can't manifest it, you can't execute. In a little 2-minute clip here, he's telling us what's wrong with society today. They're imploding. They don't have it here nor here. They're veering off to the right and going the wrong way. They're trying to lump off their junk and become boys or whatever, or women.
And so, you know, it's kind of surreal because it's like, oh, wow, I thought I can win, and I did it. So, yeah, it's super crazy, but it's awesome, and I'm super happy, and yeah, it's a good day. So.
When did you really start closing in? Because I'm standing here at the finish line, and I saw that the person who finished second was leading for a really long time in this race.
Yeah, so he kind of took off, and it was just a pack of like 5 or 6 of us, and we just started grinding together. We were switching off the lead, trying to close the gap, and around mile 5, I just kind of took off, and nobody went with me, and so I said, hey, I have to push, I have to fight, and let's see what happens. And
I have to push, I have to fight. All I see in front of me is road. I got 26 miles to run, or actually, you said it happened at mile 5. I got 21 more miles to run. I got to push. I can't give up. Can't go sit in the shade. Can't go get some water and hang out with the chicks. I've got something. I got a road I got to run.
like, I wasn't thinking at that point about winning. It was just making sure I gave the effort I have. And
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if it was just instilled in me, but effort. I didn't know if I was going to win, but what was most important, I did everything I could. I gave all my effort, which you saw. He gave all his effort. We don't see that in America these days. We saw it with the hockey teams, both of them, the women and the men. They won. The ice skater, they win. And very quickly, the media was trying to tell us that the win wasn't important. You know, the fact that way she colored her hair, or no, the effort and then the manifestation.
And yeah, around a mile was when I saw I had a chance, and I went for it, and it worked out. So.
How many of you have been in a situation where you saw you had a chance and you went for it? That's a trick question, because I know a lot of you last year weren't buying silver. You saw a chance. Did you go for it? You see this opportunity over here. You see it. Man, you know what? That might be a good opportunity. Did you go for it? Now, you probably couldn't go for it if you didn't, because you weren't prepared. You see, he prepared, who knows how long he ran. He may have been running for 10 years to win this race. And then when he got there, he still had to run 26 miles to win. What are you doing on a daily basis to prepare yourself to seize on an opportunity?
As an African-American distance runner, do you have a message? Because we don't really see too many people who look like you or I.
So, of course, you're in Los Angeles, you get this shit question. As an African-American, does it matter? Does it matter that I'm an African-American, or the fact that you see the flag draped over me? I'm an American. Why did you want to pull back and say, you know, there's people like you? No, there's a whole lot of people like him in the race. They're called Kenyans. The differentiator, he's an American.
Marathons.
You know, hey, just never give up and never assume what you're supposed to be good at. Always test yourself, always find new opportunities.
Wait a minute, I thought you said you were black, bro. Wait, what do you mean? You didn't need the SNAP benefits or have 5 baby mamas? You're telling people keep testing yourself, keep trying to get better? Oh, man, I'm sorry I asked you that question. I thought you was going to say, you know, you had like 4 baby mamas was helping you out or something. And now you're trying to tell black people, if you're different, what you need to do is what other successful people do. Imagine that. Imagine if all of these DEI nuts were saying, I don't need the DEI, I just need the opportunity to run 26 miles. What do I need to do to win $10,000? Well, you can run 26 miles. Hey now, hey.
Because it's not about necessarily what you like to do or what feels fun. It's what you're good at and what you want.
He asked him the black question. He didn't get the proverbial black answer. Doesn't matter what you like to do. You see, these are words you can use. Doesn't matter what you like. We like to sit home, turn on the air conditioner, and watch television. It ain't going to do anything for you. We'd like to be in better shape. The fat ain't going to fall off. Got to do something. You got to exercise. You got to eat right. You have to do something. A body at rest stays at rest.
To challenge yourself.
Challenge yourself.
And you can accomplish a lot of amazing things. So.
Anything else you'd like to add about this historic moment?
Hey, it's awesome to win. It's awesome to get recognition, but it's even better to push yourself and achieve whatever you can. So,
thank you so much. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
I heard that and I was like, I don't know if people are going to stay with me on this story or not, but man, oh man, oh man. It's great to win, but it was almost better. It was almost better that I just used my effort and I achieved something. That's something I think, well, not something I think, it's something I know that every single one of us can absolutely do. And it doesn't have to be something like extremely big. You know that. I'm not saying that you have to be able to run 26 miles, but everything that you can do is just better yourself every single day. I do. I try to. SV, he's coming on. He's never been on camera before. I'm like, boy, just come on, man. Let's just chill. Enjoy yourself. Just realize that this is new and do what you feel comfortable until you can realize to venture out into what's not comfortable. Just let me show you this. They're in the room getting ready. We got no, are they talking yet? No, yeah, they're kind of making noise. Hold on, let me turn it down. But she has not walked out yet. And I just felt, I don't know, maybe it's because of everything that's happened the last couple of days with free agency and football and seeing these people, these men, young men being bestowed with millions and millions and millions of dollars that they worked hard for it to achieve something. And as I was watching free agency unfold over the last couple of days, and I happened to stumble on that piece and see this guy run. And I just think, you know, I try to come on here and do my very best to show you guys you can do it. And I understand that sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes, Barry, stop talking about prosperity. I can't. It's a race for me. I'm not at the 26-mile marker. I may not win the race, but I need to push as hard as I possibly can. I need to be a better husband. I need to be a better father. I need to be a better grandfather. I need to be a better curator of news. And you just keep going because it's still better than you were yesterday, hopefully. And so is that toxic masculinity, or is that just being a man, or, you know, if you're a woman, going for the gusto? I just remember all the commercials growing up. Remember, go for the gusto? Oh, yeah. The agony of defeat. We were taught as young people, losing is bad. We all grew up that way. You loser. Don't want to be in the loser category. And then all of a sudden we got comfortable and saying, it's not your fault. You're the same as Jimmy. Jimmy's just like you, and you're going to get a trophy too, and you get to go take a nap in school, and then you're going to get older. No, I didn't get a job promotion. Okay, we'll fix that, and we'll make you a Supreme Court justice. And Miss Karoline just walked out. Hold on, let me get her on here.
Tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great states of Ohio and Kentucky, where he will tout his economic victories and detail the administration-wide efforts to continuing lowering prices to make everyday life more affordable for working Americans.
We got a rally.
The president will visit Thermo Fisher Scientific in Ohio and give remarks at Verst Logistics in Kentucky. On Thursday, President Trump and the First Lady will host a Women's History Month event in the East Room. And on Friday, the president will sign several executive orders, and we will provide more details on those later this week. As President Trump shared with the American people last night, the United States military is making tremendous strides towards achieving our military objectives for Operation Epic Fury. 10 days in, this campaign has been a resounding success thus far, and America's warriors are winning this important fight at an even faster pace than we anticipated. More than 5,000 enemy targets have been struck so far. Iran's ballistic missile attacks are down more than 90%, and their drone attacks are down by approximately 85% since the start of Operation Epic Fury. The United States is also annihilating the Iranian regime's navy, and we have destroyed more than 50 Iranian naval vessels, including a major drone carrier ship. None of the regime's vessels are operating in major regional waterways, and the Iranian Navy has been assessed as combat ineffective. The trend is clear. U.S. combat capabilities are increasing and growing more lethal and dominant by the day, while the Iranian terrorist regime's ability to respond has rapidly declined. Now, the U.S. military is moving to dismantle Iran's missile production infrastructure. Our incredible B-2 bombers recently dropped dozens of 2,000-pound penetrator bombs on deeply buried missile sites. Last night, President Trump reiterated his commitment toward keeping oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz so the United States and all of our allies can receive their energy needs. President Trump will not allow rogue Iranian terrorists to stop the freedom of navigation and the free flow of energy. Let me be clear. It is a good thing to wipe out terrorists who indiscriminately target civilians and attempt to hold the global economy hostage, and President Trump should be commended for doing so. As the president made unequivocally clear to the remaining elements of this terrorist regime in his statement yesterday, if they do anything to stop the flow of oil or goods within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the world's most powerful military 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far. Moving forward, the stated objectives for Operation Epic Fury remain the same: destroy the terrorist regime's ballistic missiles, raise their Iranian missile industry to the ground, ensure their terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region, and ensure that Iran never obtains a nuclear weapon. President Trump remains confident these goals will be accomplished in swift fashion. As for the oil, President Trump fully expected the rogue Iranian regime to try and disrupt the global markets. That's why President Trump and his energy team have been planning for this long before the strike and have moved quickly to address these temporary disruptions. Thus far, the Trump administration has offered political risk insurance to tankers operating in the Gulf. The Treasury temporarily waived certain oil-related sanctions, and the Commander-in-Chief has offered the U.S. Navy to escort tankers when necessary. The president and his energy team are closely watching the markets, speaking with industry leaders, and the U.S. military is drawing up additional options following the president's directive to continue keeping the Strait of Hormuz open. I will not broadcast what those options look like, but just know the president is not afraid to use them. Rest assured to the American people, the recent increase in oil and gas prices is temporary, and this operation will result in lower gas prices in the long term. Once the national security objectives of Operation Epic Fury are fully achieved, Americans will see oil and gas prices drop rapidly, potentially even lower than they were prior to the start of the operation. And we will live in a world where Iran can no longer threaten the United States or our allies with a nuclear bomb. On another matter here at home, President Trump is urging Congress to pass the Save America Act, one of the most critical pieces of legislation in our nation's history. The Save America Act is overwhelmingly popular with all Americans because each provision is rooted in common sense. The Save America Act has 5 simple requirements as requested by the President of the United States. Number 1, voters have to show ID to cast a ballot in an American election. Very simple. 90% of Americans, including more than 80% of Democrat voters, agree with this. Number 2, the Save America Act will require all voters to show proof of citizenship in order to register to vote in American elections. Again, this is popular and rooted in common sense. Only American citizens have the right to vote in American elections. But after Joe Biden and the Democrats allowed tens of millions of illegal aliens into our country, it's more important than ever to ensure that only American citizens are registering to vote on our nation's voter rolls, and Congress needs to pass this. Number 3, the Save America Act abolishes the incredibly unsecure practice of universal mail-in ballots, which throw the door wide open for fraud. Importantly, the Save America Act maintains exceptions for Americans to use mail-in ballots like for illness, disability, military, or travel reasons. The bipartisan 2005 report of the Commission on Federal Election Reform, chaired by, of all people, former President Jimmy Carter and former Secretary of State James Baker, concluded that, quote, absentee ballots remain the largest source of potential voter fraud, and it is time for Congress to finally address this. Number 4, the Save America Act permanently bans men from competing in women's sports. President Trump signed a landmark executive order upholding the promise of Title IX and ending this dangerous and unfair practice, but now it's time for Congress to codify this into law. Number 5, the Save America Act bans transgender mutilation surgery for children. Again, President Trump signed a common sense executive order to do this and kept his promise to the American people, but now Congress needs to do the same and codify it. It's well past time for Democrats in Congress to stop perpetuating the radical and false claim that you can somehow change a child's sex. You cannot. Passing the Save America Act is the most important thing that Republicans and, frankly, Democrats can do to strengthen election integrity and protect our democracy. It's what the American people elected Republicans to do, and they must deliver on it as soon as possible. The president is calling on Congress to get the job done and send this historic piece of legislation to his desk immediately for signature. So with that today, I will take your questions. Benny, thank you for being here, and why don't you start us off?
Thank you, Karoline. So my first question is actually about the Save America Act. So one of the biggest things that the Democrats are saying, the claims that they're making, is that the Save America Act, it would prevent married women from voting in elections or make it harder for them. What do you have to say to those claims? Is there any validity to them, and where do you think they're getting this from?
There is zero validity to these claims, and I'm glad that you brought them up, because you have the Democrats who have created this myth, and it has been perpetuated, unfortunately, by many in the mainstream media. Let me be very clear. The Save America Act does not prohibit anyone from voting, with the exception of illegal aliens. And the greatest way to disenfranchise American citizens from voting in American elections is to allow illegal aliens to vote, which is what Democrats want to do. We see it taking place in Democrat jurisdictions at the state and local level across this country. So the Save America Act corrects that. And as far as married women who have changed their name, if they're already registered to vote, they're entirely unaffected by the SAVE Act. And for the small fraction of individuals who have changed their name or their address, they can still register to vote, of course. They just have to go through their state processes to update that documentation. And this is something that the American people, married women, and minorities, and people all across this country who Democrats are insultingly saying cannot do this, they're already doing it every day, going to the Social Security office, going to the DMV, and I think it's frankly insulting that the Democrats are saying that there's certain groups of people in this country who aren't smart enough to update their documentation to allow them to vote. Again, this is a huge myth, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to address it.
Of course, and then just one more question about DHS. The funding issue has been 3+ weeks now. I was at the airport this morning in St. Louis, Missouri, and it was early in the morning, and one of the TSA agents, I saw her, she was kind of tearing up, she was crying, and I asked her, I was like, what's wrong? And she was like, I can't make my phone payment, I can barely make my car payment that's coming up. I think a lot in the Beltway, there's so much noise between Democrats, Republicans. It's the Democrats' fault, it's the Republicans' fault. But what is the White House's message to the American people that are struggling because they're not getting that paycheck? It's take away the politics. What do you have to say to those people?
President Trump wants the Department of Homeland Security. He wants TSA, he wants FEMA, he wants the brave men and women of our United States Coast Guard to receive their paychecks, and he wants this department to be fully funded and fully reopened. And so to any American out there who is struggling without a paycheck, we know there's more than 100,000 of you across the country. To any American out there who is showing up to an airport and facing incredibly long wait times and lines, call your Democrat member of Congress and tell them to fund the Department of Homeland Security. That's what President Trump wants to do, and it's completely ridiculous that the American people are suffering as a result of these partisan games that are being played by Democrats on Capitol Hill. Thank you. Steve.
You said the operation was going faster than anticipated. What is your current timeline for how long the war will last?
So look, as you know, Steve, the president and the U.S. military's initial timeline was about 4 to 6 weeks to achieve the full objectives of Operation Epic Fury. Again, to destroy their missiles and their ability to make them, destroy their Navy, permanently deny them nuclear weapons forever and to, of course, weaken their evil terrorist proxies in the region. We know that the U.S. military and our brave warfighters are quickly and expeditiously executing these objectives well ahead of schedule, but ultimately the operations will end when the Commander-in-Chief determines the military objectives have been met, fully realized, and that Iran is in a position of complete and unconditional surrender, whether they say it or not.
Does the president still want Iran's unconditional surrender?
Well, when President Trump says that Iran is in a place of unconditional surrender, he's not claiming the Iranian regime is going to come out and say that themselves. What the president means is that Iran's threats will no longer be backed by a ballistic missile arsenal that protects them from building a nuclear bomb in their country. I could make an empty threat, but if I have no actions to back it up, then it's an empty threat. And so President Trump will determine when Iran is in a place of unconditional surrender, when they no longer pose a credible and direct threat to the United States of America and our allies. Adriana.
Can you explain why the Energy Secretary posted and then appeared to have deleted a post on X saying that the U.S. Navy escorted an oil tanker through the Strait of Hormuz?
Yes, I was made aware of this post. I haven't had a chance to talk to the Energy Secretary about it directly. However, I know the post was taken down pretty quickly, and I can confirm that the U.S. Navy has not escorted a tanker or a vessel at this time, though, of course, that's an option the president has said he will absolutely utilize if and when necessary at the appropriate time.
And if this was something that was posted erroneously, could it be because of a staffer? Will there be any consequences for this? I know you still have to consult, but just generally speaking.
Again, I would defer you to the Department of Energy to answer that question.
And if I could just follow up really quickly.
Sure.
In terms of oil sanctions, the president said that there would be some sanctions that would be lifted. Would those be on Venezuela, Russia? Could you give some specifics there and then timing for that as well?
Sure. I know it's something that the Treasury Department and the president's energy team continue to discuss, and they will ultimately consult with the president before decisions are made. I don't have any announcements on new sanctions or the lifting of new sanctions for you today. Alex.
Thank you. Reuters has reported that about 150 U.S. service members have been injured so far. Can you confirm that number and elaborate on that?
I can't confirm the exact number. I know it's within that ballpark, but I would defer you to the Pentagon for a specific number of wounded or injured thus far.
And then secondly, if I can, I wanted to ask about, there was a briefing on the Capitol Hill today, and some senators came out and said they were more convinced than ever that there would be U.S. boots on the ground. Senator Blumenthal said that, in fact. Your reaction to that and any update on President Trump's thinking about it?
Look, I would say that Democrats on Capitol Hill are clearly being quite disingenuous. 3 years ago, not a single Democrat voted against the resolution condemning Iran as the world's leading state sponsor of terror. Yet now, with President Trump as commander-in-chief finally taking the action that so many Democrats have called on the commander-in-chief to do for many, many years to wipe out the threat of a rogue Iranian terrorist regime, now all of a sudden Democrats are playing politics with this long-standing bipartisan policy of the United States, and 53 of them in the House recently voted against the resolution condemning Iran as the world's state sponsor of terror. So I wouldn't take Democrats at their word. As for boots on the ground, the president has talked about this repeatedly. Wisely, he does not rule options out as commander-in-chief. So again, I would hesitate to confirm anything that a Democrat on Capitol Hill says right now about the president's thinking. Garrett.
Karoline, you outlined to Steve the military components of what would be involved in ending this war, but it seems like there's a political component too. The president said to Fox earlier today that he doesn't believe the new Ayatollah can live in peace. He made a variety of comments suggesting that he should be involved in picking the new Iranian leader. Is the ending of this war also contingent on Iran selecting a leader that the president finds acceptable? And if so, how is that not the definition of a regime change war?
Look, as President Trump has blatantly and frankly stated, it's obviously within the best interest of the United States and the West to no longer have a radical terrorist in charge of Iran, especially as we see their reaction to Operation Epic Fury. They had their missiles turned towards our Gulf and Arab partners in the region. Again, this was a regime that chanted, or still chants, death to America. We look at the way that they are holding the entire world hostage with the restricting of the free flow of energy through the Strait of Hormuz. So the president, I think, is making quite an obvious comment. Again, as for the timeline of the military operations with respect to Iran, we have objectives that we have laid out that the commander-in-chief wants to see achieved. When they are achieved, then it will ultimately be up to the president to end this operation.
Okay, so I think you're not exactly addressing my question, though. Is that political objective also necessary for the president to decide to end this war?
Look, again, I just told you the objectives of Operation Epic Fury. When those objectives are met, the president will dictate the end of these operations when he deems that Iran no longer poses a credible threat to the United States of America. And again, it goes back to what does that unconditional surrender look like? Iran can talk all they want, and their words will be very empty when we've completely annihilated their navy as we are doing, when we've taken out the threat of their ballistic missile capability, when we can firmly, finally ensure that they can no longer make a nuclear bomb to threaten the United States and our allies and our troops in the region. And that's what President Trump is ultimately seeking to do with respect to this operation.
Karoline?
Jennifer.
There was a shooting outside of a synagogue in Baltimore. Do you know if the president has been briefed on that, and do you have any more details on what happened?
I don't, but we certainly will get you more details, Jennifer. And I don't know if the president has briefed, but I'll check on that when I get back to the Oval Office after this. Sure.
Thanks, Karoline. The president said yesterday for the first time that he had to strike Iran because he believes that Iran was going to strike U.S. targets within 7 days. And then he bumped that down later to 3 days. Where is he getting that?
Well, that's not the first time the president has said that he chose to launch Operation Epic Fury because he felt as though Iran was going to strike the United States and our assets in the region first. Again, I addressed this in the last briefing. This was a feeling the president had based on facts provided to him by his top negotiators who had been engaged with the Iranian regime in a good faith effort. The Iranian regime was lying, deceiving the United States of America, clearly trying to continue their nuclear program to create a bomb that would, of course, threaten the United States of America. Again, their ballistic missile arsenal, they were rapidly and aggressively increasing that by the month to a place where they would essentially build immunity for themselves, where a future president or President Trump would not be able to launch this incredibly successful operation. And so the president, again, as I have reiterated and he has said, was not going to sit back and allow the Iranian regime to threaten or to attack the United States of America any longer.
But there are no U.S. leaders or Israeli leaders who are making those same claims. So is he making this up to justify his decision to go to war now?
The president is not making anything up, Nancy. He is looking at this every single day based on intelligence, based on facts, and based on intelligence that he himself and his negotiators have consumed based on their, again, negotiations with the rogue Iranian regime over the past year. And the president and his team tried in a good faith way to reach a diplomatic deal through peaceful means with the Iranian regime. And Iran chose this path to death and destruction. Iran wanted to attack the United States of America, and the president was not going to sit back and allow that to happen. He was not going to sit back and allow that to happen, and everyone in this room should be grateful for it. John.
Thanks a lot, Karoline. Two questions for you. One has to do with a follow-up to your statement that you made at the beginning of the briefing regarding the Safe America Act.
Sure.
Yesterday, the Senate Majority Leader John Thune spoke on the effort to potentially have a filibuster broken, the rules for the filibuster broken. He said the votes aren't there, one, to nuke the filibuster, and the votes aren't there for a talking filibuster. He says that's the reality. What's your reaction to what Senator Thune said?
Look, I think President Trump, the urgency behind his need to pass the Save America Act and his desire to get this country-saving legislation passed has been made quite clear. He wants all options on the table, and he wants the Senate to move as quickly as possible through whatever means necessary.
And then secondly, just regarding the president's trip tomorrow, looking ahead, why Ohio and why Northern Kentucky?
Well, why not? These are two great states with great Americans.
Just wanted to know why they were chosen.
Great states with great Americans. The president will be joined by lawmakers from both states who he greatly admires and respects and supports. And he'll be meeting with business owners in both of these places and talking about the economy, which is, of course, the utmost importance to him.
Caroline, thank you. Last week, the Energy Secretary issued a waiver for India to get oil, Russian oils during this energy crisis.
Yes.
Have you spoken to President about it? What's the idea behind this?
Have I spoken to the president about it?
Yeah.
Yes, I have spoken to the president about it. And the president and the Secretary of Treasury and the whole national security team came to this decision because our allies in India, as you know, Leavitt, have been good actors and have previously stopped buying sanctioned Russian oil. So as we work to appease this temporary gap of oil supply around the world because of the Iranians, we have temporarily permitted them to accept that Russian oil. And this Russian oil was already at sea. It was already out on the water. So this short-term measure, we don't believe it will provide significant financial benefit to the Russian government at this time.
I have one more question about Pakistan. You know, Pakistan is a neighbor of Iran, and Pakistan is also an ally of U.S. President has been praising a lot about the field marshal. Is Pakistan providing any kind of support in this war against Iran?
That I will have to check on with the Pentagon and get back to you. Sure.
The president said yesterday that President Putin told him he wanted to be helpful in the Middle East. The Kremlin put out a statement where Putin said, quote, "I would like to reaffirm our unwavering support for Tehran and our solidarity with Iranian friends." How does the president think that Russia could be helpful, if not helping Iran? And did the president push Putin on Russia sharing intelligence with Iran in this war?
The president and his special envoy Witkoff have both said that, of course, they've sent a message to Russia that if that was taking place, it's not something they would be happy with, and they hope that it is not taking place. As for further details about the discussions between these two leaders, I'll leave it to the president to divulge any more of that conversation, but he did confirm it yesterday and provided you with a little bit of the background and his view and his perspective, as he always does. Luke.
Regarding the missile strike on the Iranian school, how long does the administration expect that investigation to take, and will the White House or the Department of Defense release a full report of its findings once the investigation is complete?
The Department of War will do that. The investigation continues, and as the president said yesterday at his press conference, he will accept the conclusion of that investigation, whatever it may be. We'll go to the back row for some love. Sure, in the back with the glasses. Go ahead.
Regarding the shield of the Americas.
Caroline,
and then you can go, but go first.
Okay, thank you.
Is there an update regarding?
You have rough real estate back there, so I'm trying to give you some love.
Is there an update regarding Cuba, and also is an economic deal imminent?
Sure. I don't have any updates on Cuba for you today. Obviously, this is something the administration is actively dealing with. The president's made it quite clear it's his belief, based on fact, that the Cuban regime is bound to fall. The country is obviously in a very weak place, economically speaking. The people are crying out for help, and the president believes and knows that the Cuban regime wants a deal. So as you know, Secretary of State Rubio has been engaged in those conversations as directed by the president. I don't have any updates for you today, though.
Thank you, Caroline. Regarding the Shield of the Americas, the initiative by President Trump this weekend, big names, a lot of countries, but some notable absences. For instance, Colombia, which is a key ally with the United States in terms of counter-narcotics. And President Gustavo Petro was here at the White House, and he met with President Trump. Why wasn't Colombia invited to the Shield of the Americas?
I don't think we're seeing the level of cooperation we quite want to see yet from the Colombian government to invite them to the Shield of America's event in PACT, but we certainly hope that this newfound organization will expand and we can continue to invite additional member countries. But there was quite a few countries there. I believe there were 17 countries represented, 12 heads of state with the president over the weekend. They signed a defense agreement with all of our militaries to emphasize the need to combat drug cartels through Latin America in the Western Hemisphere, and ultimately, of course, to curb the illegal trafficking of drugs to the United States, which is the president's utmost priority in all of this. So it was a great event on Saturday, and we look forward to the coalition expanding. Kelly in the back.
Caroline, thank you. Good to see you. I want to get back to another question that was asked earlier. It talked about the political aspects, but there's also the ideological and the spiritual aspects of what Iran has said for 47 years. Death to America, death to Israel. And we've just finished talking about the fact that terror has been around the world. Iran has been the nexus of that in so many ways. Has the president stated clearly to the American people why this is such an imminent threat in order for Democrats on Capitol Hill and Republicans and the American people to understand how imminent the threat was?
I think he has, Kelly. I mean, you've heard from the president on an almost daily basis over the course of the past 10 days. You've heard it from me at this podium. You've heard it from the Secretary of War, the Secretary of State, the Vice President of the United States. You know, the president's top cabinet and his officials have been repeatedly explaining to the American public the threat that Iran has posed to our country in this moment, but of course, over the course of the past 47 years. And their words, again, chanting death to America, speak for themselves. Go ahead. You can follow up.
Why the division within the American people? I realize that we have the people are talking about the War Powers Act. They're talking about all kinds of issues. But have people forgotten just how imminent that threat was? If they keep saying death to America and death to Israel, they mean it.
Look, I don't think the American people have forgotten, but I think Democrats on Capitol Hill, they have not forgotten, but they are just so plagued with this resistance to President Trump on everything that they do that, again, they can't even rally behind the common sense, bipartisan, long-standing principle of the United States of America that Iran absolutely poses a threat to the United States, that Iran is the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism. And I think that's reflected, again, in their voting pattern. In 2023, every single member of the House of Representatives, with the exception of one, I believe the final vote was 412 to 1 in 2023 for a resolution condemning Iran as the world's state leading sponsor of terror. And now in this year, under this president, in 2026, 53 Democrats voted against that exact same resolution with the exact same language. I don't think that's a change in the threat that Iran has posed to the United States. I think it's a change in the Democrat Party's thinking and their vicious hatred for President Trump. Danny? Sure.
National threat level, following on Kelly, what's the national threat level right now because of this death to America, death to Israel issue?
I believe the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI have repeatedly and continuously provided updates on the threat level to the homeland. I don't want to speak on it out of turn from up here, but of course, the federal government is continuing to coordinate and partner with local law enforcement agencies across the ground to thwart potential threats to the homeland. This is something the administration obviously takes very seriously. We are thwarting threats that, frankly, most Americans don't know about because they never make headlines, but that's the great work that the Department of Homeland Security is doing, and it emphasizes and underscores the point of why Democrats need to fund and reopen fully the Department of Homeland Security right now. Danny.
On the Iranian school, why did President Trump say yesterday that Iran may have Tomahawk missiles when there are only 3 other U.S. allies plus the U.S. that have those missiles and therefore could...
Look, again, as the president said yesterday, he will accept the conclusion of this investigation by the Department of War. I know there's been a lot of speculation in the media about who may be responsible for this. We're not going to get ahead of the Department of War and the conclusion of that investigation. The president has a right to share his opinions with the American public, but he has said he'll accept the conclusion of that investigation. And frankly, we're not going to be harassed by the New York Times, who's been putting out a lot of articles on this, making claims that have just not been verified by the Department of War, to quickly wrap up this investigation because the New York Times is calling on us to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Caroline, with the DHS currently under a partial Democrat shutdown, does the administration have any specific concerns about potential impact on Homeland Security or intelligence monitoring of sleeper cells inside the United States? And do you have any comment on the bombing, the 2 individuals that bombed New York City or tried to?
Yeah, it was absolutely despicable to see that attack in New York City. I know the FBI is investigating, and the Department of Justice and SDNY have announced they are charging those 2 individuals and alleged terrorists, and I know they won't rest until justice is sought in this case. Daniel.
Thank you, Caroline. Appreciate it. Millions of Americans are filing taxes for the first time since the president signed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act into law. New reports say that new IRS data says that the average federal tax refund is around $3,800, a little bit up from the last period of last year. Does the president believe that the average federal tax refund increasing this year could provide a little bit more economic growth, something that he's been very focused on as the year progresses?
Absolutely. And Americans are going to start benefiting from the fruits of President Trump and Republicans' labor through the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill and these historic tax cuts. We are midway through tax season, so just to provide an update from the Treasury Department that just went out moments ago, nearly 63.5 million tax returns have been processed thus far, 45% of the anticipated total number of tax returns by April 15th, so don't forget to file your taxes, people. And the average refund this year is more than $3,700. And we know that more than 27.5 million individuals who have filed their tax returns thus far have claimed at least one of President Trump's new tax cuts. Over 3.5 million returns have claimed no tax on tips. Over 15.5 million returns have claimed no tax on overtime. Over 9.2 million returns have claimed the enhanced deduction for seniors. And over 690,000 returns have claimed no tax on car loan interest. And another amazing statistic, nearly 3.5 million Trump accounts have been opened for children in our country thus far. So we look forward to, I know the Treasury Department continues to look forward to seeing these checks go out the door and into the pockets of hardworking Americans. And the president will be meeting with them himself tomorrow on the road in both Ohio and Kentucky. And we look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Karoline.
Wait, did she say there are 2 rallies tomorrow or 1? Where the people from Kentucky can come to Ohio, the people from Ohio can come to Kentucky, or is he holding 2 separate rallies? Are we going back to the future? SB, are we having 2 rallies tomorrow? Oh, no rest for the wicked. Be right back. 2 rallies?
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
I'm still trying to figure that out. I have to figure out if there's 1 rally or 2 rallies tomorrow. Don't know. All right, so I've got Pete Hegseth. I saw that we did a poll. Nearly 70% of you have not seen this interview. I understand John Thune and some of the Republicans are coming out for a press conference in the Senate shortly. This one is live, so let me go to this, and then we'll take the Pete Hegseth interview shortly thereafter. Is the right button? Yeah. Oh, this one. Here we go.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Shamefully, the Democrats have put us into another government shutdown. This is day 25 of the shutdown for the Department of Homeland Security. We have tried repeatedly to engage them on a path forward. The White House has attempted to do that. By the way, the White House submitted their last offer to the Democrats 12 days ago. 12 days ago, no response. And so, here we are with important agencies of government that have vital national security and homeland security roles, people not getting paid. You're starting to see the lines at the airports because TSA employees aren't getting paid. Obviously, cybersecurity falls under the jurisdiction of the Department of Homeland Security, border security. You can go right down the list. FEMA, these are agencies that have a profound impact on the safety and security of the American people. And the Democrats have opted to, in the most cynical way, play politics. I mean, how much more cynical can you get than to play politics with issues that affect homeland security? But that seems to be where they are. Obviously, we're going to do everything we can to continue to make the case that we need to get DHS opened up. In fact, Senator Britt last week offered a couple different times unanimous consent requests to fund that department and those agencies and to allow additional time for discussion with the Democrats so we could at least get into the negotiation. And they resisted that as well. So every attempt that we have made to sit down and try and get this Department of Homeland Security appropriations bill across the finish line has been rebuffed by the Democrats with prejudice. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you can sustain that position or defend that position in light of everything that's going on in the world and the dangerous situation the United States finds itself in. But I want to hand it off now to Senator Britt, who chairs the subcommittee on appropriations that has jurisdiction over the Department of Homeland Security, and let her share her thoughts and observations with you. Katie.
Thank you, Leader Thune. It's a disappointing day. We are 38, 39 days past when we decided we would do a 2-week CR, which we gave the Democrats in good faith to be able to have a conversation about the proper way to fund the Department of Homeland Security moving forward. We are now 24, 25 days into a government shutdown with a department that is actually charged with keeping Americans safe. We have seen what's happening across our country. We also know that there is the ability to have increased threats. And the agency, whether it be Coast Guard, TSA, CISA, Secret Service, CBP, and ICE have gone unfunded. This is reckless, and it's disingenuous. Here they are telling you they want to see reforms. But I am here to tell you that they have not come to the table. Despite countless offers to sit down and try to find a pathway forward, they will not even have a conversation with us. So you are 38, 39 days past when we decided this pathway forward and agreed to them to work on this, and they have not sat down one time. Folks, that means that this is all about politics. It was never about people. We stand here ready to put the safety of Americans in front of that, and I would hope our Democratic colleagues would do the same. But at the very least, they must answer for that. Not being willing to have a conversation, not being willing to figure out a pathway forward. We certainly are. We stand ready to do that. We stand ready to do what's right for the American people.
Questions for Senator Britt?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, that's great. There you go.
You explained it really well.
So good. Leader Thune, do you run a risk of being on the wrong side of President Trump and your resistance to do this talking filibuster, tying the Senate in knots for weeks?
We don't have the votes either to proceed, get on a talking filibuster, nor to sustain one if we got on it.
Not the votes.
But that is just a function of math. And there isn't anything I can do about that. I mean, I understand the President's got a passion to see this issue addressed, as we all do.
Does he understand that, though?
Well, we've conveyed that to him, but we will continue to make that argument because I think it's important that everybody understand that this really is it's about the votes, it's about the math. And I'm for better or worse, I'm the one who has to be the clear-eyed realist about what we can achieve here. And so we'll continue to convey that. And I think that we're going to have the fight on the floor. We're going to vote on this. We're going to put it up, and we'll give the Democrats the opportunity to cast their vote on whether or not they think non-citizens ought to vote in American elections. And so that debate will happen. But like I said, I can guarantee the debate, I can guarantee a vote, I just can't guarantee an outcome.
When can we expect?
President Trump told me yesterday that it would take Democrat votes to pass the Save America Act. Do you think the MAGA base has an unrealistic expectation of passing that legislation without Democrat support?
I think there are a lot of optimistic views about what Democrats may or may not do. We all know, because we deal with them every day, that the Democrats are not all of a sudden going to decide that this is something they want to be for. So yeah, again, I mean, I think you have a lot of optimists out there, and I appreciate that, and a lot of passion and energy behind getting an outcome here. But getting an outcome would require Democrat votes, and you know, we'll give them a chance. Like I said, they'll have that opportunity to vote one way or the other on this. But I would be very, very surprised.
Does it make it more difficult that the president keeps adding pieces of policy to this legislation? Would it be better if you just had a straight up or down vote on photo ID or citizenship, for instance?
We certainly want to vote on the issues that came over from the House. The president has since that time added some additional components to his request, which we will figure out a way to get votes on as well. But obviously, I think the core issue with respect to the Save America Act is ensuring that non-citizens aren't voting in American elections, that only citizens are voting in our elections, and that they have to be citizens to register to vote, and they have to be citizens to vote.
Based on what you said about the political nature of this debate, it seems like you're caught between the two big issues of keeping the government funded, DHS, and dealing with the voting issue in SAFE. Do you feel that at this point you may have reached a legislative stalemate in this body where it's very hard to get anything done? And then what happens to other bills down the line that may be in the queue soon that have less profile, like the Farm Bill?
I think a lot of these are going to be, I mean, we're going to have a vote on the floor later today, and we will wrap up this week the Road to Housing Act, which will get, hopefully, close to 90 votes on the floor of the Senate. So very bipartisan, very bicameral. Both House and Senate, Republicans and Democrats had input into it. There are issues, I think, that transcend the political climate environment we're in. But I think it's a reality that we all deal with. And the issue of DHS funding, in my view, is should be a reflection of the fact that we can do basic things around here that help our government to function. And I think both sides, Republicans and Democrats of our constituents out there, believe that should be the case. Because the Democrats have dug in on this, I think we have tried repeatedly, as has been said, to reach out to them, to engage them, get them at the table, and to find out what it is exactly that they want. And I think the White House has been very, in my view, open and have demonstrated a lot of outreach in an attempt to try and get a deal. But what that means down the road, I don't know. I mean, farm bills in the past have been bipartisan. There are other issues that I think should be bipartisan. There are some really good conversations happening right now on permitting reform, which frankly is an issue that I think there should be bipartisan support for as well. So we're not closing the door on anything. The Democrats, their obstinance on the issue of funding the government, like I said, it's hard for me to understand or explain because we've got a very willing team here that's ready to sit down and negotiate with them. And as of right now, at least, they're just completely blocking it. And
you don't negotiate with terrorists. That's the problem with this guy. You don't negotiate with terrorists. Ram it down their throat. I can't listen to you anymore. My testosterone is oozing out of my ears. Listen to a beta cuck talk about I can't do anything. Do something. There's nothing I can do. The Democrats, they won't talk to me. Resign. How about that? How about you just resign, leave? Let somebody else handle it. Somebody who's, wants to do something. Good gosh, man. I can't. When Ashley and I were up in Washington and we were walking these halls in that same building he's in, one of the things that just completely exuded upon us, I think I've told you guys, is these people are cucks. It is so much of a difference talking to these guys than talking to the administration. The administration, they roll in and they're like, hey, we're going to get stuff done. We're doing this, we're doing that. And then you talk to these guys, we don't know. We're going to try. Oh, gosh, man. Hope they never have to run a marathon. They wouldn't get too far. Absolutely crazy. Hey, let me hit up SB. SB, you there, bro?
Hey there. Hey there.
All right. Talk to me. We got one rally tomorrow or two rallies. I don't know how much sleep I need.
Actually, it's not two rallies, it's two public stops. According to Grok, he's making two public stops in the greater Cincinnati area, but these appear to be official events tied to policy discussions rather than traditional campaign-style rallies. His first stop is at the Thermo Fisher Scientific facility in Reading, Ohio. This is focused on discussing healthcare and economic policies. The second stop is at the Verse Logistics Contract Packaging Facility. This is scheduled around 1 p.m., where he'll deliver remarks. It's in Thomas Massey's congressional district and has drawn attention due to political context. Trump has endorsed Massey's primary opponent, Ed Gallrein, and the event is seen by some as boosting that challenge.
All right, so not two rallies, but two events. What are the times? Have they released the times yet? You said one of them is at 1 o'clock. What time's the other one?
It doesn't have a time yet, just 1 o'clock for the second stop. So probably around noon.
Wait a minute, 1 o'clock for the second stop?
Yes, correct.
Oh, so we're going to be looking at probably a morning event. Oh boy, here comes. Okay. I got to interrupt you because here comes the other side of it.
Bye.
God, no, he left. It was Chucky Schumer. Wait a minute, is he coming up?
Crying Chuck.
Oh yeah, we got to take 30 seconds of Chucky here. Hold on.
All right.
Here he is. Okay, thank you, everybody. And happy to be joined by Senator Schatz. Now, to Trump's explanation about his war in Iran grows more confusing and more contradictory every hour. Yesterday, hey folks, can we have a little quiet?
I'm going to give you all the quiet you need. Screw off, all right? If you're going to start off by lying, I don't even want to spend the time listening to you. Sorry, people. I can't deal with that kind of rhetoric and propaganda, as we said at the beginning. You start off lying to me, I don't got nothing for you. All right, hey, everybody. Medicare, as you know, can be quite confusing. And as someone who recently turned 65, I can't say recently anymore. It's been a good about 6 months. I can confirm, however, that it is confusing. Keeping track of enrollment periods, understanding all your options, and making sure you're on the right plan takes too much time and energy. And between Medicare scams, corrupt agents, and bloated insurance companies, it's easy to make mistakes that can cost you thousands. That's why I'm happy I was able to get Chapter and as a sponsor and then work with them. They're actually honest and the only Medicare advisor that looks at every plan nationwide and helping you, if you call them, save an average of $1,100 per year. People are relieved when they talk to Chapter. They realize at that point they don't have to do any of this on their own. You can actually talk to them and possibly change insurance companies or get a different one. They won't push you into any plan that you don't want, and their support is completely free. One free 20-minute phone call is all you'll need. So if you're turning 65 soon or have questions about your Medicare coverage, call them at 475-328-3545 to get the most out of Medicare. Most people wish they had called them sooner. And many people here in the Fanfare family, including myself, we have used Chapter. It's free. I mean, literally, the insurance companies or whatever plan they take, but you take a 20-minute free phone call and you're good. So give them a call, 475-328-3545. All right, so we spent a few minutes listening to one beta cuck, John Thune, and then we spent 30 seconds listening to an octogenarian beta cuck, Chuck Schumer. How about we shift gears and listen to a real man here? You know, somebody who actually looks the part and talks the part, and that is Pete Hegseth.
Well, to our fellow Americans, brave warriors, and steadfast allies, good morning. You know, as someone who led soldiers in the streets of Baghdad and Samarra, Iraq, and who trained counterinsurgents in Kabul, Afghanistan, and who still carries the weight of brothers lost to Iranian terrorist proxies, many backed by the same Iranian regime we're confronting now. This fight, Operation Epic Fury, it hits home. Our generation understands this fight. For 47 years, these barbaric savages in the Iranian regime have murdered our brothers in arms, my guys, your guys, our guys, through their terrorist proxies and cowardly attacks. Now they race toward a nuclear bomb to hold the world hostage. The Iranians have targeted and killed thousands of my American brothers. That race to a nuclear bomb, President Trump will never allow it. Not now, not ever, not on our watch. The mullahs are desperate and scrambling. Like the terrorist cowards they are, they fire missiles from schools and hospitals, deliberately targeting innocents, because they know their military is being systematically degraded and annihilated. Iran's neighbors, and in some cases, former allies in the Gulf, they've abandoned them. And their proxies, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas, either broken, ineffective, or on the sidelines. Iran stands alone, and they are badly losing. On day 10 of Operation Epic Fury, we are winning with an overwhelming and unrelenting focus on our objectives, which are the same as the day I gave my first briefing here on Operation Epic Fury. They're straightforward, and we are executing them with ruthless precision. One, destroy their missile stockpiles, their missile launchers, and their defense industrial base, missiles and their ability to make them. Two, destroy their navy. And three, permanently deny Iran nuclear weapons forever. It's a laser-focused, maximum authority mission delivered with overwhelming and unrelenting precision. No hesitation, no half measures. As President Trump declared yesterday, we're crushing the enemy in an overwhelming display of technical skill and military force. We will not relent until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated. But we do so on our timeline and at our choosing. For example, today will be yet again our most intense day of strikes inside Iran. The most fighters, the most bombers, the most strikes. Intelligence more refined and better than ever. So that's on one hand. On the other hand, the last 24 hours have seen Iran fire the lowest number of missiles they've been capable of firing yet. Just the bifurcation, just the trend lines that we talked about on our first briefing. You see, this is not 2003. This is not endless nation building under those types of quagmires we saw under Bush or Obama. It's not even close. Our generation of soldier will not let that happen again, and nor will this president, who very clearly ran against those kinds of never-ending, nebulously scoped missions. Those days are dead. Instead, we're winning decisively with brutal efficiency, total air dominance, and an unbreakable will to accomplish the president's objectives on our timeline. We stay locked on the target because here at the Department of War, that's our job. Now, the chairman and I, having just returned from Dover last night, our troops and their families and the enormous sacrifice that they make is certainly heavy on my mind. So I'll close with scripture, drawing strength from Psalm 144. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. He is my loving God and my fortress, my stronghold and my deliverer, my shield, in whom I take refuge. May the Lord grant unyielding strength and refuge to our warriors, unbreakable protection to them in our homeland, and total victory over those who seek to harm them. And amen. God bless our troops and this mission. Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. I'm here today to continue the updates to the American people and to those in the room on Operation Epic Fury. First, let me start with honoring our fallen. As the Secretary said, on Saturday and again last night at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, our nation's leaders honored our returning fallen as they arrived home for their final time. Last week, I shared a few of the names, and today I want to share the rest. Major Jeffrey O'Brien and Chief Warrant Officer 3 Robert Marzan were the final two fallen to return home and members of the U.S. Army Reserve's 103rd Sustainment Command out of Des Moines, Iowa. Last night, as the news has been reporting, we honored the return of Staff Sergeant Benjamin Pennington of the U.S. Army's 1st Space Brigade from Fort Carson, Colorado. When I met Ben's family last night, his mom, his dad, and his sister, they showed me a picture, a drawing that Ben had made when he was in kindergarten. It was clear all the way back then that Ben wanted to do one thing in his life, and he wanted to serve his country and be a soldier. And to the Penningtons, just know how Ben was absolutely a great one. And finally, Major Sorfleet Davies, who returned home this weekend after sadly passing away from a medical condition while on duty in Kuwait. We welcome him home as well and mourn with his family. To the families and the families of all of our fallen, we share in your profound grief. The Joint Force remains eternally grateful for your sacrifice and the gift of a great example that your service members have given all of us. I want you to know that their names will never be forgotten, and you and your family are part of our Joint Force family forever. Let me talk a little bit about the progress thus far, acknowledging that Admiral Cooper will likely continue to give updates from CENTCOM. As the Secretary said, we're in the 10th, moving into the 11th day of Operation Epic Fury. The Joint Force remains focused on 3 military objectives. Continue to destroy Iranian ballistic missiles and drone capability in order to prevent attacks on the U.S. and others throughout the region. And this means attacking launch sites, command and control nodes, stockpiles before they can threaten our personnel, our facilities, and our partners. Second, we continue to strike the Iranian Navy and their capabilities in order to do things like sustain movement through the Straits of Hormuz. And third, we continue to start working on and going deeper into Iran's military and industrial base in order to prevent the regime from being able to attack Americans, our interests, and our partners for years to come and project power outside their borders. This means servicing production facilities, research and development sites, and infrastructure. Let me turn to the map. We're going to try digital today to prevent laser injury. Since our last update, CENTCOM continues to make progress across the southern flank. To date, they've struck more than 5,000 targets. U.S. Strategic Command bombers recently dropped dozens of 2,000-pound GPS-penetrating weapons on deeply buried missile launchers across the southern flank. We also have struck several one-way drone factories to get at the heart of their autonomous capability. And of course, alongside our regional partners along the southern flank, continue to execute intercepts against one-way attack drones using fighters and attack helicopters. Our strikes mean we've made significant progress in reducing the number of missile and drone attacks out of Iran. Ballistic missile attacks continue to trend downward, 90% from where they've started, and one-way attack drones have decreased 83% since the beginning of the operation. A testament to our air defenders and our air defense systems, and as I said, our partners in the region continue to do great work as well. Second, we're making substantial progress towards destroying the Navy. In the first 10 days of the conflict, we're more than 50 Iranian naval ships into the campaign using a combination of artillery, fighters, bombers, and sea-launched missiles. As Admiral Cooper noted last Thursday, we struck and sank an Iranian drone carrier ship, and U.S. CENTCOM continues today to hunt and strike mine-laying vessels and mine storage facilities. This work will continue. Third, against our objectives, we've begun to target Iran's military and industrial complex, again, focusing on centers of gravity to get upstream of the shooters out in the field in order to deny them the ability to continue to generate those one-way attack drones. Let me spend a minute talking about the Joint Force. Across the area of responsibility, this is gritty and tireless work, and I cannot begin to explain how incredibly proud I am of the extraordinary courage, tenacity, and grit and professionalism within the Joint Force. Last time I had a chance to talk about the Army's incredible logisticians who are out there sustaining the fight. Today I want to highlight a few groups of sailors. First, I want to thank the men and women of the Ford Carrier Strike Group and their families, and let all of them know how grateful I am for their leadership and service. The crews on board this strike group have already been endured months at sea, only to get their deployment extended. These exceptional Americans, rogered up, all supported by their families, continue to stand the watch, taking the fight to the enemy over and over again, night after night. Aboard ships like the USS Ford and the Abraham Lincoln are a special group of sailors I want to highlight today. These are the men and women, the sailors up on the roof running operations on the flight deck. With an average age of the early 20s, these are the unsung heroes of naval aviation. These young sailors, known for wearing yellow shirts, are in charge of the catapults, taxiing jets around on the flight deck, shooting jets off the front end, and recovering jets off the back end. They are literally involved with every single movement on the roof on an aircraft carrier. They are the last ones that a naval aviator sees before getting shot off the front end, and the first one that a naval aviator sees after safely trapping on the back end. And just for a minute, imagine you're standing on that aircraft carrier flight deck. There's 30 knots of wind in your face. The deck is slippery, covered in grease. It's noisy. There are propellers spinning. There's jet blast everywhere. The helicopters are running. Your head is on a swivel, and you're trying to direct a multi-million-dollar fighter into a 1-foot square box so that those naval aviators can be shot off into the black of night to go do America's work. Those jets are fully loaded with missiles and bombs, and they are a world-class team combined with the naval aviation and the aviators in those jets. This beautiful symphony of American spirit is the definition of perfectly organized chaos, and these crews do it every single time the carrier is at work. Oh, by the way, in the middle of the night, and oftentimes in the pouring rain. These are dedicated young people who take the road less traveled to serve their great nation, doing the deeds that we need them to do. America's enlisted force is the pride of every nation's military, certainly ours, and the envy of every other one as well. Each and every one of them out there across the Joint Force are extraordinary, and in particular today I want to highlight the yellow shirts. Ladies and gentlemen, our work continues. It'll continue to be difficult. I ask every American to keep our deployed force and their families in our thoughts. Combat deployments can be tough on the force and the families, and it's important that we continue to remember that. I remain deeply humbled by the 2.8 million members of the Joint Force, and I'll end where I started, and that's remembering our fallen and their families whose sacrifice will be felt forever. And with that, I'll take some questions with the Secretary.
A beautiful symphony of American spirit. Well said, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, sir.
And I will just note that no other country in the world is capable of executing what the chairman just described, day after day, night after night, unrelenting. Well said. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Alexandra Ingersoll, One America News. You talked, Mr. Secretary, you talked at the conference in Florida on Thursday that there was a 90% missile capabilities degradation and 83% drone degradation, and I know the chairman just repeated those numbers. We've seen the most amount of fighting these past 5 days. Is there any update to those percentages? And also, are you able to give any quantification of degradation to the enemy's nuclear capabilities yet?
What those numbers represent is a persistent low ability to respond, which is what we're looking for, right? It's if the enemy can simply wait and then project power, that's problematic. And we've seen some spurts here or there, but ultimately the trend lines, if you look at the charts that we look at every day, have gone like this down to a flat. It doesn't mean they won't be able to project. It doesn't mean our air defenders still don't have to defend. They do, but that is strong evidence of degradation, along with the battle damage assessment that the Joint Staff does, which takes time. You've got to look at imagery and recognize whether something's been simply degraded or it's been destroyed, or whether an underground facility has been collapsed or completely obliterated. So there's differences in how you evaluate that, but the numbers staying that low is a demonstration of the efficacy for sure. Yeah, Lear.
Thanks, Mr. Secretary. There's been reports that the new leader of Iran has been wounded. Do you know if this is true and what his condition is? And then another one, President Trump said he had a really good call with President Putin yesterday. Will Russia be aiding us in this conflict, and can you share anything on that?
Well, the president, as I've said before, maintains strong relationships with world leaders, which creates opportunities and options for us in very dynamic ways. So the president said it was a good call. I was not on it, but those that were said it was a strong call, reaffirming hopefully the opportunity for some peace in Russia, Ukraine, and also a recognition that as it pertains to this conflict, they should not be involved. The first question was?
On the new leader of Iran, there's reports that he's been wounded.
Oh, the new leader of Iran. He would be wise to heed the words of our president, which is to not pursue nuclear weapons and come out and state as such. As far as his status, that's not something I can comment on right now. Yeah, right here.
Great. Mr. Secretary, Eric Schmidt with the New York Times. A question for you first. Last week you talked about this being the beginnings of an air campaign that could last 3 to 8 weeks. Can you give us your assessment on where we are now? And Mr. Chairman, in any conflict, the enemy or the adversary adapts to the tactics it faces. Can you talk about the most challenging adaptation the Iranian military has made to the U.S. military? What challenges are you facing most right now? Thank you.
I appreciate the question. Where we are is in a very strong place, giving the President of the United States maximum options. And from the beginning, from this podium, we haven't stated how long it will take. Our will is endless. Ultimately, the President gets to determine the end state of those objectives, right? But what he's said continually, and I want the American people to understand, is this is not endless, it's not protracted, we're not allowing mission creep. The president has set a very specific mission to accomplish, and our job is to unrelentingly deliver that. Now, he gets to control the throttle. He's the one deciding, he's the one elected on behalf of the American people when we're achieving those particular objectives. And so it's not for me to posit whether it's the beginning, the middle, or the end. That's his, and he'll continue to communicate that. What we serve him as is we give him updates on a daily basis of exactly where we are so he can make that determination on the throttle. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for the question on adaptation. As you're right, no plan survives first contact with the enemy or Murphy. They're adapting, as are we. Of course, we have very entrepreneurial warfighters out there. I'd rather not, for operational security reasons, tell them what's working. So I'm going to not answer that question based on that. But we are watching what they're doing, and we are adapting faster than they are.
Are they more formidable than you anticipated, General?
I mean, I think they're fighting, and I respect that, but I don't think they're more formidable than what we thought.
Secretary Hegseth, thank you. Jordan Conrad's from the Gateway Pundit. Axios reported, citing U.S. and Israeli sources, that the U.S. was not happy with strikes on 30 fuel depots in Iran. While this is anonymous sourcing, it seems kind of congruent with what President Trump said yesterday, that there's certain spots they don't want to hit relating to energy infrastructure that would take a long time to rebuild. And whether this reporting is true or not, what's your message to Americans, those who supported the president and those who aren't really in favor of this war and who worry that Israel might be taking advantage of the U.S.'s backing. And then for Mr. Chairman, for you, I wanted to ask, when you say that we're moving inland, what capabilities does Iran have to shoot down jets over their land? And would that trigger some kind of rescue operation that could risk a bigger ground operation?
Well, I would just state by saying Israel's been a really strong partner in this effort. Where they have different objectives, they've pursued them. Ultimately, we've stayed focused on ours. But what Iran has felt is the power of the world's two most powerful air forces. In that particular case, those weren't our strikes or that objective, or that wasn't necessarily our objective. But the president has made it clear to those concerns that we're not getting pulled in any direction. We're leading. The president is leading. He's determining where we want to go, what the outcome will be, what the end state is, with a very keen eye. And I understand those concerns because I've heard from a lot of people who I went through 20 years of those wars myself, worried about getting dragged in, worried about mission creep, worried about nation building or democracy expansion. That's never the perspective the president has pursued on this. Just because previous presidents and previous secretaries have decided to just pour more resources and more people in toward some unguided end state, doesn't mean that's the way the world needs to look today. In fact, the American people voted for a different approach. But what the president also stated from the beginning was Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. And it's one thing to say it. It's easy to say. Anybody can say that. I mean, Barack Obama said that. But to do something about it takes courage and resolve. But in that courage and in that resolve, you can also be very scoped in what you're trying to execute to ensure that the sacrifice of Americans, American treasure, American lives, all of those properly meet the objective that you're trying to accomplish. And certainly, as someone I talked out front about what the Iranians have done to our generation, yes, we're clear-eyed about it. But my job is to keep it scoped, given the directive of the president to accomplish the mission.
Thank you for the question. Most of their higher-end surface-to-air missile systems are not factors at this point in time. We're able to move around fighters that are moving deeper with relative impunity. Always some risk out there. I don't want to say that there isn't, and we'll always maintain and retain capability of doing search and rescue type of things. But I don't want to get into the details. But thank you for the question.
Shelley.
Thanks, Mr. Secretary. President Trump told our team on the ground early this morning that the thing that has surprised him the most during the course of this operation so far has been the Iranian regime attacking countries that are not attacking them. I'm curious if that surprised you as well. And General, curious if you were open to the possibility of escorting vessels through the Strait of Hormuz, and if you could describe some of the challenges of doing so.
Big mistake by the Iranian regime to start targeting its neighbors right away, exposing who they are and what they're all about, indiscriminate targeting, flailing recklessly at the beginning. I can't say that we anticipated necessarily that's exactly how they would react, but we knew it was a possibility. And I think it was a demonstration of the desperation of that regime then and that regime now, that they still think their pathway out is to try to alienate their Arab partners even more, who've instead decided to come to us and have been willing to go on the offense, have been giving us access, spacing, and overflight in a new partnership that will continue to remake the region the way that President Trump did with the Abraham Accords. So you're pushing those countries in our direction to support this effort, further alienating Iran. And I think it's worth underscoring. I see in the media banners that say, war expanding or war spread. It's actually the opposite. It's actually quite contained, and more of those countries are coming on side, recognizing that you can't live under a conventional umbrella with nuclear ambitions with a radical regime like that. Again, properly scoping the objectives in the process. And then you want to talk about the Strait?
Sure. On the potential, if tasked to escort, we'll look at the range of options to set the military conditions to be able to do that. And then, like we always do with every potential mission, come to the Secretary and the President with both what are the resources required, what is the command and control required, and what are the risks, and how do we mitigate those risks. So we're looking at a range of options there, and we'll figure out how to solve problems as they come to us.
But I would reiterate also to add to what the chairman said, the truth the president posted last night about that, saying if Iran does anything to stop the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the United States of America 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far.
All right, so I just wanted to jump in because that was a very, very strong indicator. This press conference happened at 8 o'clock or so this morning. It is now 3:33 here on the East Coast. So something has happened since this press conference. And I opened this show talking to you about manipulation and emotion in terms of the market. I'm going to show you what the result of this one segment of this press conference has caused.
Goes on to say death, fire, and fury will rain upon them. You've seen the truth and read it, but he takes very seriously the condition of that straits. We have capabilities that no other nation on earth has, and we're certainly working with our energy partners across the administration to control for that. That's part of that scoping of this. The world needs to understand this doesn't have, this isn't intended to be, nor is it something that will expand. We know exactly what we're attempting to achieve here, scoped properly, and the American people can count on that for sure.
Thank you so much, Secretary Hegseth. President Trump has long said that he wants to minimize the loss of life in war, which wherever it occurs in whatever country, which so many people obviously appreciate. Can you detail the specific measures the Pentagon is taking to minimize civilian casualties and strikes inside Iran? And secondarily, is the Pentagon prioritizing replenishment of precision-guided munitions, long-range strike weapons, or air defense interceptors? And can you share any details on which systems are being prioritized?
Yeah, seeing it from the inside every single day, including this, no nation takes more precautions to ensure there's never targeting of civilians than the United States of America. From the boat strikes in the Caribbean, where every single strike is assessed to this campaign here, no nation in the history of warfare has ever attempted in every way possible to avoid civilian casualties. And frankly, that's a point that just isn't appreciated enough. Where things happen that need to be investigated, we will investigate to the question shouted in the back. That it's not, open source is not the place to determine what did or did not happen. We take things very, very seriously and investigate them thoroughly, which takes time, and which is why it does take time. But ultimately, unlike Iran, who targets civilians indiscriminately, who we've seen in the intel moving rocket launchers into civilian neighborhoods, near schools, near hospitals, to try to prevent our ability to strike. That's how they operate. And then they set the targeting of drones and missiles toward civilian targets, hospitals, hotels, airports. CENTCOM's been very good about putting that information out. That's how terrorist regimes fight. They target civilians. We do not. And I can tell you this administration and this Pentagon focuses on that very, very closely.
Does it have Tomahawk missiles? Does that mean you will hold someone accountable if it turns out that that was a U.S.
This morning, the Iranian government is saying a lot. They continue to say they're prepared for a long war. If that's the case, what could you tell the American people as far as the steps the Department of War is taking to make sure our troops have the protection and the resources they need as the mission continues?
I think there's one thing I can sleep quietly at night knowing is that we're giving every resource humanly possible to our troops on the front lines to ensure they're protected. In fact, as I said in that first press briefing, even before we set the offense, we set the defense. We made sure we had the ability to defend, and then we moved as many Americans off the bases and into other places as possible. So as this progresses, the chairman, or the question was asked of the chairman about how the enemy adapts. Well, of course, we adapt too. in real time, and to watch our warriors iterate on air defense and interdiction, on drones and missiles and how we get after it. It's incredible how they refine the tactics, bring in new assets to find different ways of getting at emerging technologies. So that is one of the things we're laser focused on every day. Yes, we're going on offense. More effectively than any country in human history, but we're also ensuring that in every way possible we're defending the best Americans we have who wear our uniform, no doubt. Let's do one more.
Thanks, Secretary Hegseth. The president has indicated that maybe the operation will wrap up sooner than he thought it was going to. What's the plan once the U.S. stops military action? Will the U.S. play a role in the aftermath, or will they leave Iran to sort it out?
Ultimately, the aftermath is going to be in America's interests, our interests. We won't live under a nuclear blackmail scenario of conventional missiles that can target our people, which is why the objectives have been scoped from the beginning. Missiles, missile production, a defense industrial base, Navy, all in service of ensuring they don't have nuclear power projection capabilities. That's what matters to President Trump. That's what matters to the American people. And ultimately, that's why we're so laser focused on ensuring those objectives and those objectives alone are met. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so before I wrap up, I want to show you in real time exactly what I was talking about this morning. So, but in order to do that, I need to show you something that President Trump said last night. This was posted. It says, if Iran does anything that stops the flow of oil within the Straits of Hormuz, they will be hit by the United States of America 20 times harder than that they have been hit thus far. Additionally, we will take out easily destroyable targets that will make it virtually impossible for Iran to ever be built back. It sounds like Nagasaki-like in terms of what he's talking about. As a nation ever again. They're done. Death, fire, and fury will rain upon them. But I hope and pray that it does not happen. This is a gift from the United States of America to China and all of those nations that have heavily used the Strait of Hormuz. Hopefully it is a gesture that will be greatly appreciated. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So he puts that out last night at 9:30. Basically letting Iran know, don't mess with the Strait of Hormuz. And then overnight, we start seeing a fluctuation, or actually a decline in oil prices. And we see an uptick in the stock market futures. All right, so then this morning, or recently, after they spoke, this happened. U.S. Energy Chris Wright deleted a post on X that claimed the U.S. Navy had escorted an oil tanker through the Strait of Hormuz to keep global oil flowing. Shortly after that, a U.S. official that you just heard told Reuters that the U.S. military had not escorted any ships through that vital oil route. It's also unclear why the post was even made in the first place. All right, so President Trump says, don't mess around. Everything will be fine. Markets react. Nothing changed. Just like I told you with Tesla, nothing changed. It's a edict by the president, and then Chris Wright says, "Well, we're escorting ships," and people react. Okay, this sounds like it's going to be okay. And then they find out, no, he didn't say that. They didn't escort any tankers, and because they didn't escort any tankers, now there's a little bit of trepidation. It might not be good. Nothing has changed. No ships have been grounded. No ships have been blown up. Nothing changed. Why would the price fluctuate? Then this pops up and it says, U.S. intelligence assets have begun to see indications Iran is taking steps to deploy some of its 2,000 to 6,000 naval mines of Iranian, Chinese, and Russian origin into shipping lanes across the Strait of Hormuz, utilizing smaller crafts that can carry 2 to 3 mines each. So now they're saying, here's a picture of the mines. Now they're saying they're going to drop mines into the Straits of Hormuz. And people go, wait, that can't be right. We can't do that. That could be problematic. Yet nothing has happened. Propaganda back and forth. Is it true? We don't know. Is it true? But what we do know, complete truth, is nothing different has happened. But the fear that things might happen, complete emotion, heart emotion, because of that, we see this. You're not going to believe this. While we were talking today, oil at the price above 85, the U.S. intelligence is seeing just to mention that there might be, mines in the water. It went back up in less than 50 minutes. Look at that. It was diving. Oh no, it's going to be bad again. And it went right back up because news came out that there's going to be mines out there. Let me ask you a question. If you had bought a couple hours ago at 79, and now all of a sudden somebody puts out a report, and that report says, hey, there's going to be mines in the water. Nothing changed. Nothing's blown up. But the fact that somebody reported it, and we don't know who, then you get that. And now you can look and say, how much money did the people who bought at this level make when it went to that level, with no definition, nothing that says it should have, other than some reports going, yeah, they might drop some mines. You see how this is being manipulated? A whole lot of profit just got made. And the only way profit can get made is basically people who bought at that price, they artificially got it up to a higher price, and then they're going to dump it now. So you can get in, make 10, 12% out of your money in a couple hours and get the hell out. They're gambling with the prosperity of America. Here, let me show it to you in another way as well. Remember when we started the show? When we started the show, the stock market was way, way up. Yeah, but now the stock market is barely above water at 38. It had dropped to negative 29 points. The S&P is still down. S&P 500 falls slightly in volatile trading as traders try to keep up with Iran conflict developments. Trying to keep up with Iran conflict developments. You know nothing. You don't have insight with the Department of War. The president is telling you, chill, but your emotion is telling you, we need to buy and sell because something might happen. That's the kind of war that's being waged against Americans right now, because as of 3:44 p.m. right now, nothing is blown up in the Straits of Hormuz. There's no evidence that there's any mines. But somebody put out a report, hey, they might put mines in the water. Sell, sell, sell. And that's how you get taken advantage of. You also get taken advantage of by this. I don't know if this was supposed to have been said out loud, but one of our senators decided he's going to walk out and say this.
I emerged from this briefing as dissatisfied and angry, frankly, as I have from any past briefing in my 15 years in the Senate. I am left with more questions than answers, especially about the cost of the war. My questions have been unanswered, and I will demand answers because the American people deserve to know. And I guess I am most concerned about the threat to American lives of potentially deploying our sons and daughters on the ground in Iran.
Wait, who said that? Did you just walk out of a secret briefing and tell the world, now I'm worried about them putting boots on the ground? Nobody's talking about boots on the ground. People have surmised, they thought they knew, but now this senator comes out and says this. You just came out of a secret briefing and you're blabbing this kind of stuff, which is going to cause what? Well, it's going to cause people to go bat poop crazy and start moving stuff around and selling stuff here or there. Well, what evidence do they have? None. It's all made up. There is nothing that came out of Pete Hegseth's mouth. There's nothing that came out of the president's mouth. And what Richard Blumenthal is saying right now, we have no way to verify. But it's scary enough that it can cause the market to go all kinds of crazy.
We seem to be on a path toward deploying American troops on the ground in Iran to accomplish any of the potential objectives here. And there is also, as disturbingly as anything else, the specter of active Russian aid to Iran, putting in danger American lives.
None of these people holding microphones, what the hell are you talking about? What exactly is it that you know that's making you say this? I didn't hear this from President Trump. I didn't hear this from Pete Hegseth. Are you making this shit up? Because I have to believe you're making it up, because the other alternative is you're divulging secret information. So, Mr. Blumenthal, which is it? Are you full of shit or you're a traitor? That's it. Those are your two options. Rich Blumenthal, Elizabeth Warren, you're either full of crap or you're traitors. There can't be anything else in between, or you're profiteering. You see, we don't know if Richie owns some oil stock. We don't know what Elizabeth Warren is investing in. You see how this works now? Hey, man, oil went down to 78. Hey, do me a favor. Get me like 5,000 shares of Chevron and 6,000 shares of Shell. Okay. Oh, it's really bad out there. They're talking about putting ground troops out there. Okay, good. It works. Sell. We have no idea. And so the common person, you and me, we look at this stuff and go, oh, it's awful. It's crazy. And we're seeing this kind of stuff. It's all red. Red is red everywhere. What do? It's all red. And nothing has changed in the last 2 hours. Nothing. I wanted you guys to see this in real time. I kind of had an inkling this was going to come because of the way the market was falling. It would bring out the profiteers like roaches. It's like, man, here's an easy way for us to make some money. It just dropped down to 78, 79. Let's make it go back up again. Oh, shit's going to hit the fan. All right, got it. Sell. And the same charts that we literally looked at 2 hours ago that were all way in the green, not a little bit, way in the green, hundreds of points higher, is now about to close in the red. And most people don't get to see it in real time. Because we were actually here at 1 o'clock, I was able to show you the manipulation in real effing time. You just got some information that most people never see. Oh, gas prices are up. What's going on? You're being manipulated. We are being manipulated. And we have no idea what this nut job knows.
Literally, Russia seems to be aiding our enemy actively and intensively with intelligence and perhaps with other means. And China also may be assisting.
Did you notice how he said it? The reporters aren't astute enough to know. What exactly did he just say right there? I'm going to let you hear it again, see, and then ask you the question. What does he say right here? Listen very closely and tell me in the chat, I'll look right here. What does he say right here?
With intelligence and perhaps with other means. And China also may be assisting Iran.
He didn't say anything. Perhaps, maybe, could be. The very fact that a senator of the United States can walk out there and go, yeah, I just got some information that says, Mayor McCheese and Hamburglar are working with Iran. Could be. I'm not really sure. Perhaps. He just said that China and Russia are working with Iran. Perhaps, maybe, conditionally. I don't know. Well, what the hell are you saying, bro? You don't know anything. This is how it works. They're very, very good at it. Unless you listen closely, did he say specifically? So, because that's his get out of jail card. I never said that. I said perhaps. I said maybe. I said could be. I don't know. But that's not what they're going to report. And that's not what the stock market is looking at. And that's how they can influence stocks so quickly. Because we don't know before he left that meeting if he made the call. Yeah, can you get me about 6,000 shares? Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'll be out in a second. And he walk out there and say, blah, blah, he threw up on himself. Listen one more time for people who didn't hear it.
And China also may be assisting Iran. So the American people deserve to know much more than this administration has told them about the cost of the war, the danger to our sons and daughters in uniform, and the potential for further escalation and widening of this war, a war of choice made by this president, not chosen by the American people, with potentially huge consequences to American lives.
There were so many disclaimers in what he said, you can actually deduce from listening, you didn't say anything. There's no news there. The media will try and make it to be news. The Panikins and the Black Pillars, well, what will they say? Richard Blumenthal says we have a potential for, no, they'll leave the word potential out. Richard Blumenthal said there's lots of danger in the Middle East right now. No shit, water's wet. But he didn't say anything that's concrete. But yet, you saw the markets. Oh, there might be some mines. Anybody catch one? Did a boat blow up? Mm-mm. Anybody seen one? Mm-mm. But you're going to report it to cause a spike. And that's how people profit in war. It's so easy. It's very easy. If you have the ability to buy certain things, whether it be silver, gold, oil futures, you can jump in really quick. Ashley's going to have a meeting, interview with me, with a guy who's a Wall Street trading company, and they're going to tell you that's how easy it is. It's the timing. Hey, this is really down. As soon as you see it, when you see this kind of crap, and you have to be able to visually look at it and go, and I posted it a couple days ago. I actually said, and I should find that post so it seems so prophetic. I said, people are going to make a whole lot of money in the next 90 days. And there you see it. Boom. Just bounce it all over the place. Why? I don't know. Richard Blumenthal says what he wants. The little people get completely screwed. And don't tell me it ain't happen on both sides of the aisle. You know, there's not there. If you've ever been involved in anything financially, that can't happen. There's no trend line there. That's a freaking V. A V where nobody got assassinated, nobody died, no countries blew up, a complete V. I won't harbor it too much. I just wanted you guys to see it because I've never seen it in real time that clear as we were able just to do right while we were watching. And yet some people won't get it. Some people will still, oh my God, Trump's causing all this. No. Somebody says, Dre says it's a disgrace that we have people like this as representing us. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I hope Trump gets even with Thune. I think we're starting to see it's got to be military. I believe these people want our people to get hurt just to hurt Trump. Yep. Pretty simple. And think about it. Somebody says, thanks, very clear as a bell now. Yeah, you never see it. You're working, you're living your life. You don't see the manipulation happening in the market. Having sold stocks and bought stocks and understand, I'm like, oh, they're doing it again. If you haven't ever heard the term, go look at the term pump and dump. If you want a quick, like, 1-page education, go look up pump and dump. And you'll be like, oh man, are you serious? Is that what's going on? Uh-huh. Pump and dump, happening right before our eyes. SB says President Trump just posted something. Let's see what he put up here 17 minutes ago. Here we go with what he just put up. If Iran has put out any money, here we go. So he saw it. I know some of you guys think, how does Barry get this stuff? Because if you just follow the breadcrumbs and only listen to the right people and listen deeply to what they say, it's going to get laid out there for you. I get emails from people, Barry, how did you know that? I just look. And I put all the breadcrumbs together. And as soon as I saw this, as soon as SB sent it to me, SB said, you want to see this? And I'm like, oh, damn, here we go. I don't even know who this person is who posted this. Let's see who they are. OST Defender. Open source monitor focused on European, but he's not government. And so he posts something, and it's so egregious, and President Trump can see the market reacting a certain way, just like I told you. And he was like, wait a second, let me just tell you right now. If Iran has put out any mines in the Hormuz Strait, and we have no reports of them doing so, he had to come out and clarify what I just told you. Dude, you watching my show? I don't know. Is there something in here? You send the black ops guy in here to wire up my stuff, because it sure seems like it. I mean, he just posted that 15 minutes ago as I was talking about it. We want them removed immediately. If for any reason mines replaced and they are not removed forthwith, the military consequences to Iran will be at a level never seen before. If, on the other hand, they remove what has been placed, it will be a giant step in the right direction. Why would the President of the United States feel the need to post that? I'm going to end right there. And those of you guys who think I just make shit up or something, I read and I can see, and now you can see. When something happens, go, how did that happen? Why did it happen? Who can profit from this? And then President Trump is trying to keep the wheels on. Like, can y'all stop playing and lying? Seriously, can you stop lying? Richard Blumenthal, other people, who are you people? You know, it's funny. I was telling you guys earlier, and let me show you again in real time. So this gets posted, right? And right there's a little grok signal. See where my mouse is? You click there, and it's going to tell you, is this stuff true or not? And it says, nope, this follows, it might be historical precedent. Yeah, nothing there. No answer. Be careful. Just be careful what you look at. Understand people have different objectives for different things. And if you can make $1 million in 20 minutes, they're going to make $1 million. They don't give a shit about Americans whatsoever. Hey, man, oil's 75. Let's make it go up to 90 real quick. Let's make $15 a barrel. All right, what do you want to do? Buy me 10,000 barrels at 79. Yeah, they're putting mines in the water. Oh, it's 90. Sell. Oftentimes, some of these people can make profit before they even pay for their order. That's the game that people don't know. If I was going to buy at 79 and I put a buy order in at 79 and it only took an hour for it to spike, my money hasn't even cleared from my buy before I get rid of the liquidation. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like Barry, you're like the inside man. Again, any one of you can see this if you listen. I mean, maybe because I'm too much of a junkie and I watch and I listen and I read and I watch and I listen. And then when you listen to these politicians, that's why I turned off Chuck Schumer. They, within the first sentence, they lie. Hey, you're done. What do you got, John Thune? Oh, there's nothing we can do. I don't want to hear from you. The only people I can hear from are the people actually doing stuff. So tonight, I'm going to see if I can't go live. I still have an interview, a speech from Marco Rubio. I have a speech from J.D. Vance that took place yesterday. Maybe you guys saw it or didn't see it. So I'm going to go home, grab some food, and see if I can't what the heck was that? I get the bat phone going off now. See if I can't get something together for tonight. But I want to leave you guys with the perspective of you're being lied to by people on the left and the right. If they can't put a story together and tie it up for you without having loose ends, they're lying to you. Listen to the words they say. Might be, perhaps, could be. Well, then you're not telling me anything. Yeah. Honey, how's everything going? The dog might be sick. What makes you think he might be sick? There has to be a reason behind something when you say it. Hey, Rich, what makes you think that this is going to happen? What makes you think they're going to put boots on the ground? I'm ready. Tell me. Stuff I've been hearing. Oh, so then you're a traitor. It's that simple. I love you guys. I got it. I got to do super chats and then get out of here. And yes, you can profit yourself on some of this stuff. That's the other thing. If you learn how to do it and understand if you're in a position to, like that guy who ran the race this morning, all you got to do is prepare. Prepare, be ready. That's it. All right, let me do super chats real quick here. Boom. Kelly, Barry, thank you for the movie last night. I've been wanting to see it. You rock. Thank you. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Raven Kirkendall, everyone gets a ribbon. Buddy, did Blumenthal divulge sensitive information? Either that or he's a liar. There's no gray area. Rescue Mom, there's going against everything we voted for. Pass the Save America Act. Indeed. Judy, thanks, Barry. God bless you. And Dr. Did I say Dr.? Yeah, Dr. Callie. Trump must use the military to stop the treason or this country is finished. I agree with you. John, how you doing? Just got back. Grocery store, full basket, under $270. Fantastic. All right, guys, I'm gonna run home here from the office. SV, you still there? You still there, man? Hold on. I can't hear him. Let me put my ears back in. You still there? There he is.
Yeah, I just popped on. What's up?
You got anything before we close?
I am good for now. There's always something happening, but we'll catch it later.
You feel more comfortable today?
Oh yeah, this is great. I love doing this. This is fun.
I like it too. All right, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you guys tonight. I'm not sure. All right, talk to you soon.
Last year, as most of you saw, we released